love municipal bonds. Municipal bonds are really fun. Fun, 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 fun. Municipal bonds confidential.
There is an iconic term attached to American government that is often utilized to partly explain how things can get done and how money may be spent. If I were to say the words, military industrial complex, this is a term you know. And even if you have few thoughts on it, you know what it means. A more evolved version of the term is, and this really is an actual term, military industrial congressional complex. You perhaps know that the term was introduced, believe it or not, by President Dwight Eisenhower. He used the term as a warning. The warning being about the inappropriate and intertwined relationships between Congress and military and defense corporations, those corporations funding congressional political needs, and the fact that Congress in turn then provides government funding to those same military and defense corporations. Similarly, I must inform you that there is a municipal bonds industrial complex. It has spun its way into all aspects of American government, as well as education. It is less understood and well hidden in clear sight. But as compared to the military-industrial complex, the municipal bonds industrial complex is far worse. Be forewarned, there are many players in this municipal bonds industry thing. And there are thousands and thousands of people who work in the muni industry, who make large, even extraordinary amounts of money. I will discuss all these players in coming episodes. One by one. To begin with, let us start at the top. The President and Congress. You are perhaps thinking, why is Captain Municipal Bonds beginning with the President of the federal government and the federal Congress? Are not municipalities defined as a government, of any and all kind, that are below, or sub-sovereign, to the sovereign federal government? And is there not a separation of powers between the federal government and states and locals? These questions would both be true. But there is something bigger, if not overriding, which binds local and state governments to the federal President and Congress. And that would be money. They may call it funding or budgeting. But let us call it what it truly is. It's about the money. Year in and year out, you will have heard the President, regardless of political party affiliation, and all members of Congress, regardless of their political party affiliations, call out for spending on many different things. Many of these spending packages can work their way down to the issuance of municipal bonds at the state and local level. All the while, behind the scenes in Washington, D.C., there are countless muni industry lobbyists and special interest groups advising the President and Congress to call out for those specific spending ideas simply because it will result in the issuance of municipal bonds. Or, if the President or Congress call out for spending that is legitimately their own idea, the muni industry will throw support behind that spending idea simply because it will result in the issuance of municipal bonds. Why is it that the municipal bonds industrial complex schemes and lobbies the President and Congress for anything that will result in the issuance of more and bigger municipal bonds at the state and local level? It is because this is how the muni industry makes money. They make a lot of money. They make so much money they celebrate any presidential or congressional spending action, because they know as a result they will be managing and underwriting more and bigger municipal bond new issues. Even if the President and Congress are mad at Wall Street, it doesn't matter, they still help Wall Street by spending money and enabling the issuance of municipal bonds at the state and local level. Those in Wall Street have a good laugh when one side of the President and Congress lash out at them, while at the same time another part passes budgets and spending packages that enables and ensures Wall Street makes money. The President and Congress are enablers. It is absurdly contradictory. Or it could be by sinister design. To explain how this is. When the President and Congress budget and provide money, the federal government then works with state and local governments to provide funding by way of grants for those federal spending policies. However, the way it usually works, not always but usually, the federal government only provides a partial grant. They pay for only a part. And the state and local government must pay their part. The state and local government must come up with their share of the money. Then, state and local governments usually, not always but usually, borrow for their required share. They borrow by bonding for the money. They issue municipal bonds. And because these federal policy projects can be big-ticket and shockingly expensive projects, the municipal bond issues can be in the millions if not billions of dollars. It is at this point when this compromised process is very much exposed. State and local governments are not allowed to issue municipal bonds independently. They are not allowed to sell direct to investors. Municipalities must work through financial intermediaries. And the financial intermediary is the Municipal Bonds Industrial Complex. It is Wall Street. Wall Street Public Finance. Wall Street Investment Banks. Wall Street Brokers and Dealers. This is where the Muni Industry and Wall Street make their money. Every municipal bond deal equates to the Muni Industry charging their fees and Wall Street getting their cut. The more municipal bond deals, the more Muni Industry fees. The bigger the municipal bond deal, the bigger the Wall Street cut. To be clear, Wall Street is very much part of the Municipal Bonds Industrial Complex, also known as the Muni Industry. It could be said Wall Street is the leading part. All of this leads to questions of priorities and who really controls our government. Many questions can arise. Do we really need to issue municipal bonds? Do we really need to issue municipal bonds for that? Is it wiser to not fall deeper into debt? Are we issuing municipal bonds simply because the Muni Industry wants to make more money? President Eisenhower long ago warned on the military-industrial Congressional Complex. The unfortunate confidential truth is that there is a Municipal Bonds Industrial Complex, and it is perhaps more inappropriately intertwined and compromising. But as long as the President and Congress continue to spend, that spending will slither its way down to state and local governments and there will be municipal bonds. Ask your financial advisors, ask everyone you know, about how the President and Congress enable Wall Street as municipal bond financial intermediaries, and about this thing called the Municipal Bonds Industrial Complex.
I love municipal bonds. Municipal bonds are really fun. Fun, 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 fun. Municipal bonds, Confidential.